Today I'm going to show you a Valentine's Day mini album sort of card that I made using Bumfuzzle Boutique's Printables. I'll put a link in the description box where you can get it. This is sort of a card size, but it's a hardcover. I used some different files, and again, I'll link it all below. I did have some flowers in my stash that I put in here, but let me show you what's inside. So inside I've got just a couple of journaling cards that would be great to add photos or write something heartfelt in there. But look at this. These are hearts from Bumfuzzle. Isn't that fun? And I thought you could add photos to them or write different things that you love about the person on there. But anyhow, these are very adorable. Let me show you real quick how to make them. All right, I have two pieces of chipboard that are 4.5 by 6.5, and I have a piece that's a 1/2 inch by 6.5. I have a piece of cardstock that's 8.5 by 11. I put backing, double-sided permanent adhesive, on all of the pieces, and I made a little tick mark where the 5.5 inches is. So I'm going to just try to put this in the center, like 1 inch from the bottom, 1 inch from the top, right at that center line. I am grabbing some double-sided permanent adhesive in the 1/4 inch size, and I'll put some on one side of that chipboard and on the other. This little 1/2 inch piece is going to actually be a spine. It's going to be a small book, mini album, journal, I don't know what you want to call it. So I don't need a very thick spine. So I'll peel off that backing. All right, and then I already put double-sided adhesive on here. Oops, peel off the backing there. Peel off that. There we go. Oops. Okay, and then I will put this about 3/16, so less than 1/4, more than 1/8, right there. Now, I'm not having very large margins around here because I'm using scraps. I had this chipboard that was already the 4.5. I guess I could have gone 4. I don't know, I like 4.5. So I'm going to do the same and put this on the other side. Alrighty, then I'm going to add double-sided permanent adhesive. I usually don't do this because I usually use liquid adhesive to adhere this. But since I have such a small little margin there, I'll use the double-sided tape. Now, if you want, you could put it around the perimeter, but I feel like that's going to be overkill. But if you're more comfortable doing that, then you can do that. I'm going to peel that off. Actually, what I really should do is cut this first. So I'm going to cut this and stay about 1/8 of an inch away from the corner of that chipboard piece. I guess by having the double-sided adhesive, it all sticks together, so that's a good thing. Anyway, I'm going to grab some glue. I am using the glue from the Art Institute glitter. I'll put it along the edge of the chipboard on that one long side. Grab my bone folder. This is a number 2 Dress Your Craft bone folder. And I'm going to bend it right there, right at the edge of the chipboard, and fold it over and burnish it. I'll add some glue here right next to the chipboard, By adding glue there, it does a couple of things. It helps moisten the fibers, so it'll help the paper fold a little bit. That's why I'm never in such a rush to do it, because it's all right if it takes a second for the paper to, the fibers to moisten. It just helps it. And then it also helps adhere it to that very edge of the chipboard. All right, burnish. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and just go in right here at the corners where that piece overlaps. I'll just go in and sort of push it in from the side. I'm going to do one there, one here. I'll take my bone folder again and push that right up against the edge of the chipboard, and then fold it over with my fingers, and it's going to stick because we have that double-sided adhesive. Do it here as well. All right, now I'm going to take my bone folder and burnish at the edge. So there we go. Then I will use the rounded edge of my bone folder and just burnish in that space between the spine and the cover, because it's going to stick to that double-sided adhesive we put on both sides of that spine piece. Here as well. All right, so this piece is almost 10 inches, so it's 10 by 6.5. So I'm going to cut another piece of my pink cardstock I'm going to cut it to 9 7/8 by 6 3/8. Check and make sure the fit is good. I cut it 9 7/8. I'm going to take off just a little bit more. So I guess make it 9 3/4. All right. I am going to add glue onto this spine and on this side and this side. And then I'll go around the perimeter of my paper. And then I will very carefully, starting at one side, put this down and burnish. I feel like there was some glue on my bone folder, so I will clean it up. All right, and again, I'll take this rounded edge of my bone folder and go back and forth several times. I'll do the same for this side. And I'm going to take this cover and fold it in. So what I want to do is I want this top piece to meet up with the glue or the adhesive that I put already. Let me turn this as I go back and forth. So there's that. And there's that. And just work it. So it looks like a little book. It's going to be sort of a cross between a card and a book. All right, I'm going to let this dry. I'll burnish it again right in the center and let this dry while I work on our waterfall mechanism. All right, now I'm flipping over to my Cricut screen so you see what's going on. I'm choosing blank canvas and I've already uploaded this into Cricut. I have other videos showing you how that's done, but so this is from Bumfuzzle. There are 3 in the set. I'm just 3 pages. I'm just taking this one and I want to choose specific ones instead of printing it all out. So I am selecting just a shape, just a square, and I am trying to cover that one. I'm doing the background purple just so it's easier to see, so you can see the edges. I am going to just very carefully stretch this square till it covers completely one of the hearts. And then I will slice it. I'll do several to show you it in slow motion. So click a square. I guess I'll do this one next. So I'm going to stretch it. Now I'm going to go up to the top and hit the unlock so I can make it more of a rectangle than a square. So I select the square, I select all those hearts, I hit slice, and as I move it, I realize I sliced a little bit of the bottom of that heart. So I'm going to undo it and make that rectangle just a little bit bigger so I get the bottom of that heart and then redo it. So it's easy to fix things in Cricut. I think I might have missed that very teeny tiny bottom. Can I get it? There we go. Okay, and then I'll reslice it. All right, I'm going fast. I'll go through the process of taking out a couple more of the hearts that I want because I don't need all of them. I'm going to use 6 of the hearts, but one of them I'm not able to get. I'm enlarging this so I can see I can get it all. One of them I'm not able to get, so I'm going to show you how I can add a piece to make sure I get the whole entire heart. So here I'm going to take the rectangle and try to cover the entire heart so I can slice it. And then I see the bottom of that heart is going to show through. So all I need to do is get another shape. I'm going to use a triangle. And I'll move it over to the piece. I put it blue just so I could see, where it is. I'll move it down, turn it around. I'll unlock it so I can make it a little fatter and shorter, squattier. Squattier is a good word. Just manipulate it. And then I'll attach that blue triangle to my black square. So I've got this weird looking shape, but I'll click on that shape, select the hearts, and slice, and now I have the heart that I want. So that's how I get the hearts that I need. Okay, so here are the 6 hearts that I've chosen. They're all a little bit different, but in the same color family. So I'm going to size them all, make them all 3 inches. I'm just putting them together just so I can see. And then I'm going to select all of them just by scrolling and clicking. And I will duplicate them, move my duplicates over, and then I'll reverse it just so I have the reverse of each one of those hearts, because they don't all have the exact same shape. So then I will show you what I do with that. I am going to go ahead and print that. So I'll show you what it looks like to print. Everything is on the mat. And here we go. I place it with the little triangle, use my little rolly tool, and click cut. I just adore Bumfuzzle Boutique's files. They always come out perfect. And there are the hearts. I'll go ahead and print the 2 sheets and then I'll show you what I'll do next. All right, this is from Bumfuzzle Boutique. It is the Shabby Chic floral digital paper. It is 11 inches by 4. I'm going to put the 11-inch side at the top and score it at 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, and 6. And then I'll fold and burnish real well on these score lines. This is the mechanism. We want to make sure it is straight and that it will bend. Now this pattern I printed on both sides of 65-pound cardstock, just with my printer. I didn't do any special, I didn't do it high quality. I guess that's the way I want to say it to you. I didn't do it high quality, I just printed it because it's just going to be a background piece. I'm folding it the other way and burnishing as well. Okay, so here's the 3-inch side, there's the top. So now we've got our little hearts. Now these are all 3 inches. I think I'm going to try to do it darkest first. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to skip this first score line and go to the second. I'm going to put the top of the heart at the second score line, but just a little under it, not on the score line, just a little under it. And I will lightly take a pencil and draw where that heart, the top is. And then I will glue that, just the top, on this 1/2 inch tab. I will just glue this on. Okay, and I'll burnish. All right, I'll do the next one. And again, just put it on here lightly. Draw, add some glue. And put it on. I think I'll skip that one, put this one on. And I'll go ahead and continue and add the remaining hearts onto this, just putting one on top of the other until they're all glued and all done. All right, so there we've got the hearts all lined up on there. Now, I'm going to turn this over, and I've cut another piece that is 4 by 4 1/4. Oops. And I'm going to add glue on the bottom 1/2 inch and just put this at the bottom. Yeah, I realize it doesn't line up perfectly, but that's okay. Or at what was the top. I'm going to trim it down, but it's good for now. And then what we're going to be doing is, this will be a pull tab, and this will go like that. So, I think I'm going to put another paper down at the bottom first before I glue this down. Okay, so this is 4 3/8 by 6 1/4. It's just a darker pink, and I inked around it the edge with Victorian velvet. I also have this piece that is about 1 1/4, and I am going to, it's 1 1/4 by 8 1/2. I'm going to score it at 2 and at 6 1/8. 2 and 6 1/8. I also think I'm going to trim a little bit off of here because we've got some room. So I'm going to take off about 1/4 of an inch on the bottom. And I'm going to cut this down. I'll tell you what the measurement is. So the length of this now is 6 1/4. The back piece is 6 1/4. It's got, of course, I put on another piece here, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is take this piece and add a piece that's just 4 inches by, what was this? 1 1/4, 4 inches by 1 1/8. I'm going to ink that one too. And glue that onto the top of here. Alrighty. So I'm going to fold that to the back and glue it. So this is about 1 1/2 up from the bottom. And we're going to glue this top piece onto that. I guess I didn't need to put that paper on it, did I? And I'm going to put glue on here, and that's going to get glued, whoops, to this. I'm going to glue this down first. All right, let's let that dry and we'll decorate the rest of it before we do anything else. And I want to show you this before I complete it. So I took a scrap of paper and I scored 1/2 inch on 2 sides. I was going to make it a regular pocket, but I think what I might do is I glued on this heart, and I'm going to just cut around the heart. I'm leaving a little bit of the pink paper showing, but I might change my mind and go back in and Just cut it all the way, coming up this way. So I could leave it like this, but I also could cut this part. Let's do this. So now I was putting this paper on and decided to wait and make a pocket. So that's how that's going to work. So we've got just these little pieces coming off of it, not much, but enough that it'll make a pocket. So I'll put that on the underside. Add some glue. And glue that down, and let's burnish. So that made a little heart pocket. So now I can add, so this is from, oh, that came out cute. This is from the Bumfuzzle journal cards. So I've just cut this out, but I'm going to glue it. Well, I might. But wouldn't this be cute to add some photos to? You could add small photos to it, but you can stack a whole bunch in there. So I'm going to do that as well. All right, now I'm going to show you now what I did to finish this off by decorating the cover. So I had some paper, I sort of distressed the edges. I added a piece of vellum, a doily. I had some lace in my stash, I added that. You'll see the journal card comes next. I did ink around the edges and put that on, added a bunch of glue, make sure it stuck with the doily. So that is one of the pieces of the washi tape that was from a freebie from Bumfuzzle. I printed it out on vellum and just added that to get a little extra oomph. That pink is a piece of mulberry paper. I just toned it down with a little bit of ink. I had made these flowers a long time ago, so I had them in my stash. So I'm trying to play around with the flowers and figure out exactly what I'm going to do. Some of the pink is too bright. Some of it, I think, just gets lost. Here I made a nest of some string. I ended up using these darker flowers just for a little contrast. And then I had some enamel hearts and whatever from, I think it was 49 in Market. I end up adding even more flowers to that cluster after I put in the heart. So let me show you. All right, and so I added some more flowers to the cover. Added this heart here. I put the enamel pieces on there. And of course you saw that I just layered a lot of things that I had in my stash up just to make it a little interesting. And then inside we have the heart. I did add You Are Loved from, that was from a Bumfuzzle Boutique Valentine's sentiments or tags. I'll link that in the description box. And then here are the two journal cards. And then here we have, I did print out with my printer. It just says pull, just so people know what it's for. And then there we go. You could add 6 things I like about you, or 6 things I love about you, or you could put photos on top of them. So I just cut out some photos that are heart-shaped, but I think what would be even better is if I turned them upside down and put the photos on the back. I think that would be more interesting. I don't know. But it just makes a cute little, a little more than a card, but not a big mini album. But I did make a card to go along with that. So these are all things from Bumfuzzle. But I layered some things up here. This is from the Valentine's Day sentiment tags, whatever. There's a heart. There's a journal card. There's the washi tape. Here is some paper. Then I had some pink paper and I put it on a white card base that's 5x7. And then inside I've got the hearts. I only have 5 in this one, and it does the same thing. But it just makes a little extra special card. So there are a couple of Valentine's Day ideas, something a little bit special, a little bit different, using printables from Bumfuzzle Boutiques. Let me show you a couple other things that I also made using some of these files and a couple others. So I did print out the journal cards and made just a couple of journals. So I used my cinch binding machine. Now these are the Bumfuzzle gnomes that I love so much. Check out what I did with them last year. They were so cute. But I just made some note cards. Even though it's Valentine's Day, I mean, this you could use year round. You were loved. I mean, you were loved year round. So that is from the paper, the shabby chic pink paper. There's another gnome. Then I have the 3x5 index cards. And another little gnome I just made a little smaller. So I did a couple of those. This one, I just added a heart to the front and added a couple of the gnomes that I Cricuted inside. And then lastly, this is using the journal cards and everything else I had left over. So here's a gnome. It does say XOXO down there. The hugs and kisses. And all I did is just took some paper and just scored it, I think 3 1/4, added these journal cards, a couple of the gnomes. So you could make a whole journal using the journal cards. It just was adorable. But I mixed and matched a lot of stuff you can get from Bumfuzzle. So look at all the things I made just from a couple of files. That is what I made using Bumfuzzle Boutique's digital printables. Do go check out her site and have fun. Thank you so much for watching and have a fabulous day.